Hello, everybody. It's me, Bigfoot, Michigan Rabbit, Saturday. It's May 4th, about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon by the time this gets released. It's time for another subscriber or encounter story from you or a random email. This is fantastic. I like this. I like when I get a lot of encounters from Michigan. This is from Clare, Michigan, that was sent in to me. And I'm familiar with Clare, Michigan. It was a hunting area that my brother used to go to before he moved on to a different location. This is a good story. I want to thank everybody for subscribing to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. If not already, if you are the first time viewing this video or watching this show, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you think. I'm about 90 away from 4,000 subscribers, so I'd like to get that done in May. I want to thank everybody that is a subscriber. Everyone's bought my book, Bigfoot Michigan Rob Presents True Encounters, True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. You can find that on Amazon. The link, as always, is in this video and on my YouTube About page. Thank you, one and all. I'm on Tuesday nights live at 9, Wednesday afternoons live at 1, and we've been doing a Saturday night show at midnight. So there you have it. If you're new, you got the info. I'm going to get on with this. I hope you all enjoy your Saturday afternoon. Hello, Rob. My name is Jim. During the span of, let us call it, 5 years, my wife Sue and 3 sons, Jim Jr., Alex, and Tommy, spent great family times camping in Clare, Michigan. I had a modest parcel of 5 acres or so that I had bought. I'm not a hunter, but did like to spend time fishing with the boys. In fact, a lot of the surrounding land was owned by hunters, and we would always hear the popping off of rifles during the season. This had forced us not to camp during these times to avoid being picked off by perhaps a stray bullet from a hunter. I can't even tell you the amount of times local hunters got in touch with me wanting me to sell my property, my parcel of land, which I refused, of course. I think it annoyed a few of them, considering the property was in the middle of Hunter's Alley, a coin named by my kids as they came up with. So we always joked about that. I was not going to sell. As my sons got older, who knows, perhaps they would one day take up the sport of hunting. So yes, we're going to keep this in the family. This time in my life spanned the years of 2016 through 2021. During this time, usually in the summer, well before hunting season started, is when we would utilize our land for safety, of course. The first 2 years from 2016 to 2018 all seemed normal. We would hike the trails, fish in the small stream, and do what most families did while camping in the woods. Stay up late around a bonfire and tell stories. Cook up our catch for a great meal, and just take in the beauty of Mother Nature. Upon the start of year 3, summer of 2019, with the boys a bit older, Jim Jr. just turned 18, Alex turned 16, and Tommy was now 13. Things for me seemed out of sorts. I started to get this notion or gut feeling that I was being watched. I did not tell any of my family this, as I did not want to spook them. In fact, I laughed it off. With now a full set of teenage boys in the house driving me and my wife crazy. Perhaps that led me to be just a little bit more attentive or aware as to what my sons were up to. I was just being a worrisome father, I suppose. My sons were very well behaved, and I put my worries aside the rest of the camping season. Fast forward to summer of 2020. A year went by, and the same usual or unusual feeling of being watched occupied my mind. I felt a presence, and this time it was not that of a worried father. It was a man that knew something or someone was watching from the depths of the woods. Then my eldest son, Jim Jr., after a day or two camping, our first camping outing that summer, took me aside and he kind of startled me when he asked me a question. He asked, "Dad, I have the feeling we are being watched." I replied, "When did you start noticing this?" Even more shocking, Jim Jr. answered, "Ever since we first started camping several years ago." My head whirled. I had just noticed this last year, while my eldest son had this strange feeling well before I even started having my feelings. My son and I decided not to tell the rest of the family. We left camp to go scouting about the woods and told the family we would be back soon. They really paid no attention to us as they were preparing to go out to the stream and fish, which was kind of our ritual every camping outing. We love fishing for our food. Jim Jr. and I decided to take a different trail than we normally would travel. We followed it for a mile and decided to venture off the trail for a few yards. After cutting through some brush, another much narrower trail opened up, and we followed it for about 50 yards, then came across a huge tree uprooted and turned upside down. Further up the trail, another uprooted tree. This time, it was two huge trees that were crossed in the shape of an X. Then, the feeling of being watched took over my son and my our senses. This time, though, it was much stronger and deeper. It was so intense that we both trembled and started to uncontrollably shake. Directly in back of the X-shaped structure, we noticed movement from the tree line. The trees were literally starting to sway back and forth very violently. There was no wind. It kind of reminded me of the movie King Kong, when Kong roamed through the jungle pushing down trees. This was ferocious with immense strength and size. My son and I stood paralyzed with fear. We did not run, we stood still. We waited as to what was going to emerge from the ever-moving tree line. Then, the swaying of the trees stopped. No less than a foot or two inside the tree line, we saw an image much like a shadow take form. The shadow was huge. If not 12 feet tall, it was close. The width of the body was powerful, looking to be at least a minimum of 4 feet wide. It was spooky, as it just stood there for at least a good 2 or 3 minutes. When I mentioned King Kong earlier, that is what I think I was looking at, some unknown phenomenon. King Kong, of course, was probably, 90 feet tall, but you get what I'm saying here. Huge. It was not an ape, however, nor it was a gorilla. This is Michigan, for cripe's sakes. Then the eyes seemed to glow a neon shade of yellow and green. They changed colors, it seemed. It was so bright that it penetrated the daylight that surrounded us. With this shadowy image, I suppose that made the eye shine possible to peer out at us. Then this creature took a step back deeper into the tree line, and it let out a tremendous roar. A roar unlike anything I ever heard. The tree line began to violently sway like earlier, as the beast roamed back into the depths of the woods. We got back to camp, and the rest of the family ran towards us. My wife Sue exclaimed, "Did you hear that roar?" I was kind of shocked. We had to be at least several miles from camp. Sue at first thought it was thunder, but then realized that there was not a cloud in the sky. My son and I told the family of our experience. They could not believe what we saw. They were glad we were okay. The following summer of 2021, I gave in to a local hunter that wanted to buy my property. I sold my plot of land. I have not been camping in the woods, nor has my family, ever since. It always makes me sad when somebody gets so paralyzed with fear that they quit doing what they did 5 years camping in the woods with the family. That kind of breaks my heart a little bit, right? Certainly they saw something they couldn't comprehend. He doesn't mention if he ever knew anything about Bigfoot. This is just something that he came across, something that scared him. 12-foot shadow, human-shaped form, gorilla-shaped form, reminded him of King Kong. Emerges, from the tree line. You get this thunderous roar, which was heard miles away from his wife and the rest of the family camping. Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought, because I'm thinking Bigfoot. I mean, I know about Clare, Michigan. I've heard and read several reports in Clare, amongst other parts of Michigan. Michigan, we got things going on in Michigan. Clare, Michigan, I certainly am not excluding from this. And what do you guys think? Was it a Bigfoot? What do you think, though, about Jim? I don't think this was an experience that would scare me from going into the woods, right? I don't know. We all walk in different shoes. We all have different paths we follow. Some things shake us up more than others. But with that being said, Jim, thanks for sending this in. I hope you get over the phobia or the fear of the woods, because frankly, the woods are a safe place to go as long as you know what you're doing, you stay on top of your business, and you go with a group of people. With that being said, I am Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Please subscribe to my channel if not already. Thank you ever so much. And until next time, have a great weekend. I am Bigfoot Michigan Rob.